Okay.
You're something.
You're good.
We're good? All right. Good morning, everyone. It's 9:32 on Friday, August the 21st of 2020. We're here for our workshop agenda. First item is from the auditor's office. Do y'all have anything? Lorraine? Okay.
Yes, we wanted, on this concrete connection from Westport, we wanted to get that paid from Fund 11.
Okay. I think, we approved for the parking lot to be done with a concrete connection, but we did not specify where the
Yes.
funding would come from. So Melinda told me she was going to put it back on the agenda so that we
It'll come out from 11.
Yes.
On Monday.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about that? Okay, thank you. The next item we have is from the treasurer.
Okay, Judge, I'll be reporting the July report, the financial statement for July on Monday, and present the affidavit to be posted in the newspaper.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Okay. My items are, the first one is the proposed holidays for next year. And I hope I have a copy. Maybe we'll see if anyone.
It's on the Friday. And it's on Friday.
Over Fridays. We got too many,
You wanna borrow Chris's trip?
we got too many service agreements. Well, let me look through here real quick, guys.
It's on Mondays, Tuesdays.
Oh,
It's right behind Melinda's request.
It is on Mondays.
What,
On
third
Friday.
page?
Okay, thank you.
Third page.
Thank everybody for taking care of it. Let's see here, the proposed list, of course, January 1st is a Friday. Martin Luther King, is gonna be observed on, January 18th, that's a Monday. Good Friday is April 2nd. Memorial Day is May 31st, that's a Monday. July 4th, is actually on a Sunday, so I'll put July 5th, that Monday. Labor Day is Monday, September 6th. Veterans Day is Thursday, November 11th. Thanksgiving, Thursday and Friday, November 25th and 26th. And Christmas, Thursday and Friday, November 23rd and 24th. Basically, I just went through and did the ones we had from this year. And just redid the days. The only one I wasn't sure of was the July 4th, since it fell on a Sunday. If we took a day or if we just, took that weekend day. So anyway, I'll present that to y'all. So y'all look at this over the weekend. If you want to add, delete, adjust, whatever you want to do, we'll do that. So let's see. The next item I have is, or hope that I have, is the Petersburg EMS run. I
saw it on
Yes.
That's right behind there.
This is July 2020 for Petersburg EMS. They had 9 dispatches within the city, 7 transports, 2 non-transports. So they had 7 billable runs. And that was their total. So they had out of city limits or outside of Hale County runs. So it was 9 dispatches, 7 transports, 2 non-transports, and 7 billable runs. And their financial statements for July showed a total revenue of $980.63, and total expenses of $9,530.03. Any questions about computers over in this room. Okay, item 3, Melinda had talked to me, she had thought that she was going to request maybe to have Mario and Kenny get back with Sylvia. Since y'all visited with her and created her new contract, she was gonna have me ask y'all to do that again about this COVID increase. But she did call me this morning and said that what Sylvia had presented, she thought would be fine, because we're looking at getting that reimbursed through the grant that we got, that IDA has the funds for. So she thought the way that Sylvia had presented it would be fine.
Okay.
I will get with Jim before Monday, so if he's good with what Melinda's saying, then we won't need to do anything.
Okay.
But if Jim tells us that we may want to do something else, then I may ask y'all to visit with her again. So, and that's all my items. And then the other thing for today is we have an HVAC contract from Johnson Control. Oh, it's here. Kind of humble, like you say.
It's probably the best fit.
Yard code, none of them are passed.
I was looking at that. Like, you can't ever get it cold enough for her in here. Well, what would you be if it was one of those days when that air conditioner wasn't working?
Would be.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank
All right, we're ready for your presentation.
Okay,
All right,
where would you like me?
just where you are, right in that general area, would be fine.
Oh, David, could you get him to come over the screens?
Oh, okay, all right. If you could at least walk past this screen, this glass, because we're on YouTube,
Right there.
Oh, okay,
so
so
she's needing to get you on camera.
I brought everybody a copy of the president.
Okay, I'll pass this one over. Is this what you sent us? Is this what you sent David? Or is this-
Yes, sir.
All right,
Only one modification on there is the date.
okay.
The one I had him, I gave him earlier was for January of 2021.
Okay,
This, I didn't know if you guys wanted to get started on there, it's for September.
okay.
It's not a big deal, I can change the dates if you need to.
Okay, no problem.
I just want to say thank you for having me today. My name is Carlos Lopez, I'm representing Johnson Controls. I brought a presentation. This is for preventive maintenance on your York chiller outside, as well as the controls. So you have a York chiller, it's an 80-ton, and it's controlled by Metasys, which is a Johnson product of Johnson Controls. We're proposing preventive maintenance. We believe it's very important to keep preventive maintenance on your system. It extends the life of the unit and as well as cuts down on repair costs. On this presentation here, made some tabs. On page 2, it shows the price. And this is a 3-year contract at the price of $40.93. That's going to be for the first year. There's a lot of information in here, so I kind of highlighted and made some tabs. On page 10 is the equipment list. as well as the services provided. So on the chiller itself, we're looking at 3 operationals and a comprehensive, along with a condenser coil cleaning. The controls, we've also got 2 operationals and 2 performance verifications. That's twice a year. The following pages, 11 and 12, I've highlighted some of the things that are included in the comprehensive condenser coil cleaning operationals. As far as the controls go, there's 2 performance verifications. That's a PVT tool that we use. It helps us to determine if there's anything going on with your building automation system. Also helps us to keep it updated. And this day and age with cybersecurity is very important. There's a lot of hackers trying to get in and get information. We like to keep that stuff up to date. We also have an offsite backup. That's in case there's any kind of catastrophic failure here or any kind of somebody gets into the system, we're able to recover it offsite and get you back online and going. I also believe that, being a York chiller and Johnson Controls Medicines, it's really a good match. We have technicians that have a lot of passion. And if you got a control problem with your automation system, we could have a technician up here looking at it, finds out it's not even the controls, it might be something on the chiller. He's able to make a phone call and communicate with our technicians and usually get that up and running right away. And vice versa, if the guys are out here on the equipment and turns out it's something on your automation system, they're able to communicate very well together and get it up and going. We do have factory certified technicians as well. David had mentioned to me that another company has also a presentation as well, or a proposal. They've added a lot of other stuff that I do not have in here. And if we definitely want to go apples to apples, I can definitely relook at that. The reason I have it on the chiller and controls only, I actually gave them a proposal last year, and I don't know if the budget wasn't right or it was passed on. So I didn't want to add a lot of extravagant other things that to make the price go up. But I can definitely, like I said, if we want to look at it apples to apples, I can add anything to the scope of work that we need to.
Okay, all right. Well, what we'll do, they just gave a proposal. It's my understanding they're not gonna do a presentation.
Okay.
And so what we do on Fridays, you'll come and you'll visit with us and leave your information. And then on Monday, we'll look at theirs because I didn't get theirs on today's agenda. But we've got the information, so I'll ask the commissioners to look it over this weekend. And then we'll look at it Monday and possibly make a decision.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Is there any other questions you guys may have?
You got any questions, Carlos? Carlos, I will tell you that we'll make some type of decision. I don't know what we'll decide on Monday, and you're welcome to come. We start at 9, or there's no reason for you to come if you don't want to come. If we decide to go with Johnson Control, then David will contact you.
Okay, definitely. There's a little tab on page 9. That's the final piece if you guys definitely decide to go with us.
Okay.
I just want to say I appreciate your time. I appreciate the invite. I will be here Monday.
Okay. All right.
Judge, if I may, all this for basic, I know the difference between basic and the premium.
Yes, sir. This is basic. Now, it does not include repairs, but we will, when our technicians are out here and they're looking at stuff on an operational or comprehensive, they're always looking at everything included. And at that point, I'm not saying we're gonna say, oh yeah, by the way, you need this. By the way, we're not trying to sell anything. Our guys are very passionate. If there's something that they can take care of, they'll take care of it really quick. It's a really good deal to have the OEM manufacturer on your side, because we also get communication with the factory in regards to changes on equipment or sometimes there's service bulletins that come out and stuff like that, so.
Okay, all right. Any other questions of Carla? All right, well, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Sir, if you can sign in, please.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, and that concludes our agenda for today's meeting. If y'all want to look at Monday's agenda, go through and see, Melinda's got a grant from the OAG on it's the VINE service contract, and she's gonna ask that the court approve it and allow me to sign it, so that we receive the funds. The fund amount is $18,571.12. Okay. Ida, you just had this, one other item on Ida's, you wanna talk about it, Ida? Item E?
Well, I just will need the court to give me direction on whether, y'all decide to, stop the exemption on the federal taxes on the FICA, actually. It's not the Medicare part. The total amount of that is the 7.65%. The president signed that order where he's exempting the FICA, but, it's a decision the board will have to make.
There's, and just to elaborate and correct if I say something that's not accurate, but my understanding is if we decide to do this, then the employee would receive that funding that normally would go to the FICA tax through December 31st. And then there'll be a determination made sometime later on whether you have to repay that or if it would be I guess like a grant type deal where you don't have to repay. And so that's going to be what we need to decide. Okay, if we're gonna do it or not do it. All right?
Judge, could I chime in there?
Yes, sir.
Despite the president's executive order, the Congress is gonna have to be the ones who forgive those payments, so until they act, if you defer it, it's just deferred, I guess January 1st or April 15th next year until we do, so.
I believe the order said through the end of the year, not 31st, but as far as the decision,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, Judge, I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what he said.
What he's saying is it is strictly a deferral.
Okay,
So we should not present it as it's gonna be forgiven because that's gonna take a true act of Congress for them to forgive it. But, so if we do decide to, allow the treasurer to do that, we need to make sure that all the employees understand that that is a deferral. And to make, appropriate, and that's what Ida and I talked about. Our job is to do what we need to do with it, and then their job is to decide what they're gonna do with the extra money. And so
well, that sounds like it could be a disaster in the making.
well, and like I said, that's what we'll decide on Monday, so. We did the holiday, we did the, okay, here's on mine, on item D, the Ag Extension Awards Banquet. She'll be here to talk about that. They want to have it in Ollie Liner on September 12th. She told me that she would estimate about 65 people to do that. And so I guess we need to decide whether we're going to allow them to do that there in Holly Liner. Also, the item right below it, Kenny brought to me, it's an education, and it's not a bar, it's a fair. And it's scheduled for September 15th of 2020. And Kenny's understanding is that with Plainview ISD?
Yes, it's for the 8th grade.
Okay, so there would be a pretty good number of.
There'll be a lot. The way I understood, the way I was told there'd be a lot. I wasn't given a number, but it was gonna be substantial.
Okay, and then, item F is the service proposal from Anthony Mechanical. I gave each of you a copy of that, so if y'all wouldn't mind, reviewing that over the weekend. And because they won't do a presentation, we just need to discuss and either take action or not take action with either them or Johnson Control, whatever y'all decide.
Judge, you've talked to both of them. What is your sentiments on that?
Well, I hadn't had a lot to do with Johnson Control because I know they put in the original unit and they did come last year. Is David still in here? And work on the controls because the controls are computerized. And so, and that went good with them. I mean, Anthony Mechanical is who could come and service it when it was out a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I was pleased with their stuff that they did. Of course, they presented some of the items to us, such as that coil system and what kind of discharge we're getting out of it. And we've got to correct that because the discharge is nowhere near what the consistency it should be. And so, and that's really what got me asking about a maintenance agreement, because I asked them how we could thin that discharge out that comes from the coil system. And they said it's a chemical that's put in to the system during maintenance performance checks on it. And they said it would just be a course of time to get from where we're at to, it's supposed to be pink. They said the discharge was supposed to be pinkish in color, and ours looks like tar.
Yeah.
And so we've got to go from, that to that. They said it was going to take several chemical treatments to get us there, but we're in danger with that discharge being so big that it's not truly discharging at all. And that's what causes the coils to hold water and stuff. So
I don't know, I remember back in the day when we used Johnson Controls, seemed like we had a lot of issues with some of the offices being really hot, some of them working okay, and, but, maybe they can correct that.
now, according to the gentleman from Anthony Mechanical that come, he thinks lots of that is with our ductwork, the way the ductwork is done. And so he's thinking that we might need to have some of the ductwork checked out, and to see. And so,
When the system is working good, does everybody stay cool or?
well, it's weird, like I said, there's probably a 20-degree difference from Rosillo's office to my office.
So that might be a duct issue.
And so, and when they got it going, the only rooms that really stayed hot were my office, this men's restroom, and the computer room. And they're all right there together, so I'm assuming it's something to do with that right in there.
See, I think the computer room has its own control.
Yeah, well, we all do. I have a control in my office. Now, I'm not sure about the restroom, but,
You have your own control in there and it still
yes, you can't, it doesn't matter. I mean, of course, I try not, it'll go down to 55, but I don't turn it down that because I don't want to freeze I don't know if you can freeze the unit since it's,
Yeah, you probably can.
but, I've varied it from different ranges and it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, so. But anyway, I just thought, one thing, we might start with is the maintenance, have a maintenance agreement with them. The problem and something we gotta realize is lots of people think we've got a maintenance agreement with them and they come out and find something wrong, that it's part of the maintenance agreement, well, it's not. I mean, there's conditions in there and checks that they'll perform that's on their maintenance agreement, but if they find issues, along
That's
the way,
addition.
that's additional expenses. And so, and that's not just with these two companies, I mean, that's with everybody.
Yes.
And so, so if y'all would look those over, and decide, you know, it may be something we want to expand. David and I just started doing this about 2 weeks ago, you know, and we got a couple proposals of people we knew. And so if y'all know someone else, if y'all can think of something better to do, then we'd certainly be open to that. But after I seen the sludge that was coming out of that coil, I knew we were gonna have to do something, you know, because there's no way, number one, that's gonna cause us problems, and number two, if it's pumping that through there, it's gonna greatly decrease the life of the unit. And so, and then I have a extension service IT agreement. They just sent me, I haven't even had a chance to look at it really. I got it this morning in email, and I haven't had a chance for Jim to look at it. It's basically, I think, between the extension service and Texas A&M, but I have to sign it, and so I put it on here. So I'll forward that to Jim, and hopefully he can look at it, give us some direction. The other thing is it expires on September 1st, so they didn't give us lots of leeway to look at it. So, and then the next one is the National Highway System update. I received a notice from Rusty Smith with the National Highway System telling me of work that's going to be done in Hill County on different roads on the highways. And they have a page in there for me to sign saying that I acknowledge that I received that from him and where the work's going to take place. So I put it on the agenda because I think I need the court's approval to sign and return that to him. Now, I will tell you this, I'm going to sign it today because today's the deadline. And so I don't think, Jim, there's nothing in there that says we have any say in what they're going to do. It's just acknowledging that they're going to do it.
I think, as near as I can understand, it is saying that there's several, and it's kind of funny how they break the different segments up, but like Fifth Street or Highway 70 going through town, they're it's taking it out of the National Highway System, and I don't know how you do that when it's US Highway 70, but I suppose it's a bookkeeping thing at TxDOT, and changing the classification of it, and there's actually part of 24th Street apparently that's on the National Highway System. 70, I think there might have been
194.
I think 194 going through town, which I thought was a state highway to begin with. I think that's probably it. Like I say, 70 they've got broken up into these little funny. They don't just say going through town. So I think it's really one of those deals. They just want y'all to say, oh look, the local officials support this move, and I suspect it doesn't matter if you support it or not. It's gonna.
I did talk to Mr. Smith, and I asked him, I said, you know, you sent me all these things, what if we, and he said that lots of times smaller communities will try to challenge because that may be the only road through the town and stuff, and he said they, you know, want to have a voice in it, and he acted like they would hear them out, but it really didn't change things, you know. And so, but he said usually that would just pertain to smaller communities, that may be the way through town. So,
Are they going to, if they do that, they change that, is that stripped down completely? Is it going to go back to local control? Will we take care of all the maintenance, or they still going to?
See, that I don't know. I don't know if it'll still be maintained by the state or, because like I say, apparently 24th Street is part of the National Highway System, so I don't know why we're having to pass a bond here to pay
To
for
take the rest
redoing
to
it.
redo it?
well, and like I say, it's a very lengthy document, so if y'all want to look at the whole thing, I'll be happy to email it to you, but it's maps, and basically the way I took it when I first got it was that this is what's gonna be going on here, and we just wanna make y'all aware, you know, that you're gonna have road construction and things like that. But then, like Jim said, then it gets into their re-evaluating or reassigning, you know, names and stuff, so. I don't know if the reassignment has anything to do with, the control and maintenance of the highway or not, or they're just putting it in a different category within TxDOT.
It is not terribly explanatory
No.
when you read the
Yeah.
letter, so unless, and I haven't had time to research what being in the national highway system.
But I really think, Jim, and correct me if I'm wrong, the signature is just to acknowledge that we received it.
I think so.
Okay.
It's gonna have a little more.
Yeah. And so, I'll go ahead and sign it and return it to him today.
It sounds like they have some criteria, and I don't know if it's traffic or what it is, that they look at it, and either you're qualified for it or you don't, so.
Well, I just know after serving on this Port to Plains committee that, you know, that construction is inconvenient, but there's lots of places not getting, you know, their roads are in terrible shape and they're not having anyone look at them. So even just for the inconvenience we have, we should be thankful that they're here doing work on them, so. All right. Then the county clerk, Ms. Latrice.
Just, I think y'all all have it in your packet, just, I need approval for the polling locations for the November 3rd election, if y'all will look those over. I just have a couple of changes from, past elections, precinct 110, instead of Martin Resources, we're moving just across the highway to tie roughing. And then, precinct 111, the Baptist church is where we've been having it, and they told us no because of COVID. So I don't have a lot of options out there. So said Board Water Supply, we went out there and looked at that, and I think we can make that work. So those are the only changes, other than, you know, what was previously approved for the early voting location, the annex over at juvenile probation. So I'll be presenting those. Y'all will look over those, and then real fast, I just want to go over my other item. It's a quote. It's from VR Systems. It's the absentee request and mail ballot management. And the quote is for $3,000. The support and maintenance fee is $1,500. I have the money in HAVA that I could buy that with. A little background on it. Right now, we're using a system called Apps, and it's through HART. And I've probably had it for 10 years. And it's at its end of life. They're not supporting it anymore. We're having troubles with it anyway. 2 years ago, Richard's computer crashed and we lost everything on it. We had to redo it. This is just a software program where if that happened, we'd be able to sign in on any computer. All the information that we put into it, we would be able to get. It would be there. And this is just how we keep up with our absentee mail requests. And I mean, right now we have our annual ones, but I think we're at probably 400. We're getting daily. He's getting probably 20 or 30 mail requests, so it's gonna be huge. So I need something I can trust. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I just did a demo on Wednesday with them. And it's a fairly new system. There's a few counties in Texas that are doing it. And I wanna call those counties to see what their experience was before I did purchase it. My deadline, I was thinking, well, I'll just wait till the next court, but that's September 14th. We have to have military out by September 19th. I guess I'm kind of gonna be asking on Monday if y'all would allow me to just explore it a little bit more and be sure it would be a good fit, and if I think it is, if I could go ahead and sign the quote after I talk to Melinda to verify that I can pay through it through HAVA and that $1,500 support fee, and then come back to court on September the 14th and let y'all know for sure. Like I said, this election is construction's gonna be crazy, and I just need to be sure I can keep up with this stuff. So, anyway, I wanna I included just a little flyer in there about the system. So, any questions or ask anybody? Thank you.
And on a related note, on Monday, we have a juvenile meeting on Monday, about Eddie and him moving to the new location there at 10th and Portland. And so, I anticipate that building to be unoccupied during early voting.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so,
That'd be better.
that way we'll have that building available. So, all right, let's see. Then the last thing, of course, was Johnson Control. And so, I guess Carlos will be back on Monday. So, if y'all would look those over the weekend. Anyone else have anything to add? Comment about anything on the agenda? If not, then we'll stand adjourned at 10:08 a.m.